So, I've been devoting myself to crafting pretty much for the entire year. And honestly, throughout this whole journey, not a lot of things have changed. It's just me, my mammoth, and my bag. Now, my mammoth is already masterpiece, so I'm not really going to change it. I'm not going to change myself either, so there was only one more thing that I could change, which was my bag. Now, until this very moment, I've been using an 8.3 masterpiece one, because 8.4s are super mega crazy expensive. Now, I would simply not pay 130 million for a bag, because again, it seems kind of a waste. But I would want to buy an 8.4 excellent one, because, it looks pretty cool. So I did what everyone does. I opened the game, I went to the marketplace, and I searched 8.4 bag. Now, to my surprise, there were only two major things that I could find. Either a complete ripoff, meaning that I would pay so much money for one single bag, or there was simply none in the marketplace for sale. Now, when I see this, I always think of one thing. Wow, I should be making this item. And you guessed it, that's exactly what I did. Now, before we jump into anything, we have to make sure that we're gonna be making money. So, if we're gonna be making these bags in 8.4s, I might as well look at other tiers to make sure that I could make money on them too. And that's exactly what I did. And apparently 8.3s are also super profitable. So I'll be doing two types of bags, 8.3s and 8.4s. But there is a very big problem before we make anything, which is I have zero spec whatsoever on bag crafting. So this means that we are gonna have to level up crafting from scratch if we want to get these 8.4 bags. Now, there are a ton of different ways that you can level up. You can use learning points, you can study items, but since I'm pretty cheap and I always try to make the best out of every single situation, what I always do is craft tier 4 items. In this case, two different tiers, tier 4s and 4.1s. And why exactly am I making these tiers? Because they are great, and often I don't rely on focus to make either profit or gain spec. Because again, no one really uses focus on 4.0 crafting. So I'm really competing against other non-focus usages. So with this out of the way, before we made any bag whatsoever, we had to do two things. First, we had to buy order the materials. Now, since I was going to be making a lot of bags, because again, I had to level it up all the way until maximum spec, I knew for a fact that I will probably have to craft over 10,000 bags. And for 10,000 bags, I would need 80,000 leather and 80,000 cloth. And this is simply a value that you cannot simply buy on the marketplace. So I had to literally buy order it. And then there was another thing, which was the 8.3 and 8.4 materials that I was going to be using. I could not buy them on the marketplace either. Now, why is this? Because they are very, very expensive. And a lot of the times, the people that refine these materials, they actually don't sell them in the marketplace because of taxes. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of taxes, but here they are a huge turnoff because 6% of 3 million is a lot of money. It's around 200k per unit. So what I did was I went to a special Discord where I could find the exact materials I wanted for a cheaper price. And instead of buying them on the marketplace, I would simply buy them on a direct trade with a player. Now, in this case, I ended up paying around 3 million silver per 8.4 material that I bought, meaning that it was a lot cheaper than paying 3.6 million on the marketplace. So, now that we had all materials, there was another issue, which was these materials were in the royal cities. In this case, in two cities, which were Martlock and Limhurst. Now, both of these cities don't have any bonus for bag crafting. And the only city that does have a bonus is one. It's Brazilian. So I had to take all these materials to Brazilian. Now, since they are materials, I really can't fast travel through the travel planner, as this would literally cost me a fortune. So I had to take my materials in another way, which was through the yellow mists. Now, this is a very simple process that you can do too, which pretty much involves you on running around the yellow zones, finding a mist, joining it, and searching for a Brazilian entrance. Now, you can really only do this if you have Brazilian standing of 50,000. Now, if you don't know how to do it, you can check out this video right here. Either way, it took me a lot of time in both cities to actually find all the correct entrances, but once we were done, we had all the materials in Brazilian. Now, once they were all there, we ran into another issue, which was we could not make the bags yet. And why is that? Because we had to get the maximum spec. So we had to power it up all the way to spec 100. Now, I'm not the most patient person when it comes down to crafting. So I really didn't want to wait until the bonus day for crafting bags for these 4.0s and 4.1s, because honestly they're so cheap it's kind of whatever. So what I did was I filled my inventory with all the materials that I could. I went out, I bought some journals, in this case tier 4 tinkerers, because again these can be filled and sold for a profit, and I went to the cheapest station that I could find in Brazilian to craft our little bags. Now it took me literally a couple of hours, but once we were done, we had maximum spec in bags. Now, I did not do it in satchels too, even though it would be way better, but satchel prices have gone through the roof since the depths update because a lot of people have been buying the books to level up gear. So satchels are really not viable at the moment, and I simply really didn't care. Bag spec was the only thing that mattered to me at that very moment. We only had one more thing to do, which was actually crafting the 8.4 and 8.3 bags. But there is always a but when it comes down to crafting. Now, a lot of the times I really don't care about the bonus day. But in this situation, bonus day is one of the most important things. Now, why is that? It's actually pretty simple. Let's say we're making a helmet. Now, let's say a Night Helmet 4.0. Now, a Night Helmet 4.0, it only takes one ingredient, which is 8 bars. So if we have a 48% return rate, it means that we are either getting 4 bars or 3 bars, because it didn't reach the 50% threshold. So we either get 3 or we get 4. Since it's a 4.0, each material is like 200 silver. It's not a lot of money. But when we're crafting 8.4, these extra 2% basically mean that if we had 50, we would get guaranteed 4 materials back. Now, if we get 3, we pretty much lost 3 million. So it's very important that we reach and hit the 50% threshold of return rate. And we can really only do this in the bonus day. So when you're crafting 8.4s, ideally, you should wait always for the bonus day. Because again, with bonus day, you're gonna get 50.8% return rate, meaning that you have 4 guaranteed materials back, and you even get 0.8% chance of getting an extra one. And think of it, one extra is an extra 3 million silver in profit. So bonus day becomes very, very important. So as you guessed it, I waited for the bonus day, and I didn't wait 1 day, I didn't wait 2, I waited 26 days. And I mean, it was 26 days that I had close to 800 million sitting on my Brazilian banks, waiting to be transported or to be crafted into bags that I was simply not making any money from. This very good morning hit, and we had 10% bag day. And I swear to God, my eyes lit up because I knew right away that it was game on and time to print. So I literally was the first person to ever do it, and I ran into the station as fast as I could with all my materials, 2 Kraken's 6.3, a bunch of Tinkerer books, and one more thing. Now, I knew that I was going to be making a lot of bags, and I knew right away that I would not have enough focus for everything. So this was the moment that I waited, and I wanted to hold on to my focus potions for this very same timing to craft, because again, I knew that I was going to be making a lot of them and I wouldn't have enough focus. So I used my focus potions to increase the focus that I could use and therefore make more money. Now, there was also another thing that I had in consideration. Now, when you're crafting, I always recommend that you go to the cheapest station that you can find. But I didn't go to the cheapest one. And why is that? because I found out this station that was slightly more expensive, it was paying for nutrition, meaning that you can feed this station and they will give you back a percentage. They'll pay you for feeding the station, basically. So I knew that this value was very high and I could actually profit from feeding the station. So what I did is, before I actually crafted anything, I went into the market, I bought myself turnips, and I made myself a turnip salad. Now this is the food that you feed the tool makers, which is where we craft bags. So what I did was, I simply were making my bags and then I would feed the station to get even more profit. And honestly, I think it would even pay for the entirety of the taxes that I would pay to craft the bags. So without further ado, we could literally do our bags. The very moment that we waited so much for, we could finally do. And I'll let you guys see what exactly happened.
You said that you've been lonely, makes you cold as ice. Hard to get to know me, but better than the lies. No way I'd let you slip by. No way I'd let you say bye.
So we actually hit the jackpot and we got an 8.4 masterpiece bag with my name on it. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. Now the rest of the bags, they went actually very good too. We got a bunch of excellents and a bunch of normals and outstandings, which honestly are totally fine by me. Now, what exactly am I going to do with these bags? Well, there are two things that we can do. We can either sell them directly to players, or we can take them to the black market. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be splitting this into two batches. The first batch, I'm going to simply re-roll, put everything to excellent and sell to players. And the second batch, I'm going to transport to Carlion and I'm going to sell on the black market. Now this is a very dangerous trip, so I really can recommend you to do this, but when I did it, I had around 300 million silver on my backpack and I went the extra mile to make sure that I was simply not going to die and get ganked. But we made it into Carlion and we could literally put our bags into the black market for 30 million silver each, which honestly, they sold like cakes. And I mean, they actually sold so quickly. I was super surprised, but it was amazing because that meant that we were making a lot of money. Now for the 8.3s, we were making around 1 million silver per bag, which honestly was also pretty damn good. So the black market part was very good for me. Now the second stage was selling to players. Now there were only one thing that I had to do, which was re-roll everything to excellent. Now this was not my biggest luck and I honestly don't really know how much I spent, but I know that my profit margins were so high that it was completely fine even if I blew a couple of million into re-rolling the items. Then the only thing that I did was spread the items throughout every single royal city and just wait for them to sell. Now, it's been pretty much a week and most of my bags already have sold because again, bags are an item that pretty much everyone uses, and especially if you're crafting and a refiner, you're gonna need a pretty good bag and it's a great investment for you to do. Now, there was only one more thing that I actually ended forgetting, which was my original tier 4 bags and journals in this case. Now I had them all in Brazilian. Now I could literally just take them to the black market, but honestly there were so many and I really didn't have the headspace to do it. So what I simply did was I put them on the marketplace. Now since they are a tier 4 item and everyone buys bags, I knew right away they would sell. They were selling around 1,000 per day. So I literally just put stacks and stacks on the marketplace, and I knew that maybe not in a day, not in 2, but in a week, most likely everything would sell, and that would be totally fine for me because I'm a very patient person. Literally, I waited 26 days for the bag day. So I really could wait a little bit more for my bags to sell. Now, as for the Tinker books, the tier 8, I pretty much sold them on the Brazilian market because again, they're pretty used in every single city, but I noticed that the Brazilian market did not buy tier 4 journals for Tinkerer. So very likely I'm gonna have to transport them out and sell them on another marketplace. But I'm not too worried about that, it's only around 7 million in books. Anyways, I really don't know how much money I made in total, but I know for sure that I made a lot of money. And why exactly is this important for you to know? It's the principle of crafting, it's pretty much always the same. You find something sketchy, you look into it, and you see money. Now, if you see money, you look up how you can do it and do it yourself. It's not secret, you don't need to invest a billion like I did. You can invest literally 50 mil, you can invest 1 mil. It doesn't matter where you're starting, it matters that you're starting. Because the more you invest, the more you'll be making along the way. Anyways, this is my journey. Very likely, I'm not going to be selling this 8.4 masterpiece bag because honestly, it looks pretty cool with my name on it, especially because my mammoth already has my name on it. But I really not sure. You guys think I should give it away to you guys? Please let me know. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and as usual, Nendys out.